All right, welcome out to another episode of the Universal Sports Podcast. This is GT Gabriel Trevino, and this is episode number 4. This is the podcast where I just kind of talk college and professional sports. And today's going to be a real short one. We're just going to talk a little bit about some NBA. A lot of stuff going on in the NBA. First, the West Finals game one will start tonight. You have the Los Angeles Lakers traveling to Denver to take on the Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets they have been the best team all season in the West, right? Now, I'm not personally big on Denver. I never have been, but I've been very impressed with the way that they played. They're healthy, number one. They've got shooters. To my surprise, the Lakers, I didn't give the Lakers a chance to be here. I didn't think they'd get past Golden State. I thought Memphis, they might get past Memphis, but I didn't think that they were going to get past Golden State. And we'll talk about that series another day. Jordan Poole didn't show up. Klay Thompson struggled a little bit. But anyway, the Lakers ended up winning that game. I mean, you got to give Rob Pelinka and the front office of the Los Angeles Lakers one heck of a job because when the season first started, it really didn't look like the Lakers are going to be anywhere near where they're at now. But they made some trades. They traded Russell Westbrook. They got themselves some pieces that can help LeBron and Anthony compete. And they've done well. Now, I was asked, and the last couple of days I've been asked the question, are you a Laker hater? I'm not a Laker hater. Um, Back in the 80s, I like Magic and I like the way they played. I've never been a Laker fan, but I was a fan of Magic Johnson. I just loved the way Magic played with Worthy and Kareem. So I always liked the way they played, but I was never a Laker fan, not even when they had Kobe, and definitely not one now. But I got to give credit where credit's due, man. They are playing great. LeBron at 38, 39 years of age. I mean, I was asked, do you think he can win another championship? Because you've been saying they're not going to get this far. And I have to apologize because I didn't think they'd even get this far, but they have. I think I still don't think LeBron can win because I don't think the team is better than Denver, and I don't think they're better because I think the Celtics are going to end up going to the finals in the East. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. But as far as the Lakers and the Nuggets, I think that the Nuggets they have home court number one. They've got better shooters and they're healthy. I don't think LeBron James can carry that Laker team like he had when he was younger. He's scoring 20 points or something. He's still a beast. Don't get me wrong, but he can't carry this team on his shoulders as he did the Cleveland when he was with Cleveland. So he's going to need Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis has been playing lights out. But this is the time where they're going to need those role players, especially on the road. Tonight's a road game for them. Very important game. Tonight's going to tell me a lot how this series is going to go. But and I'll get to my predictions tonight. But I think they're going to need consistent play from Austin Reeves, which they've gotten. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, which he's been playing great. So they've gotten contributions every night. Someone has stepped up. One of these role players has been huge for them, and this is why they're where they're at. They beat Golden State and they beat um, Memphis. But I think in all of these games, because I think that the the Denver Nuggets are a better shooting team, even better than the Warriors. They're younger, and with Joker and Murray and all these guys, and then they're deep in their bench. I think they might be able to wear the Lakers down. I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets. I just think they're the better team. I think it's going to be a tough series. I think it'll go a little deep. I don't know if it'll go 7 games, maybe 6, but I Denver should beat them. They're younger, they're better shooters. But the thing that's been real impressive about the Los Angeles Lakers is different people have shown up. Anthony Davis has been a beast. LeBron's going to be LeBron, but someone has every night stepped up for these Lakers in these past series, and they've been huge for them. So they're going to need this again against this team. But I think Denver's just better than Golden State this year, and they're better than Memphis. And so for the Lakers, I think they're going to come across a team that's totally different. They've got depth, they've got great outside shooting, and they got a guy that's kind of like an MVP, right? And Joker. So I just think Denver is the better team. They're at home. They got home court advantage. So I'm just thinking that they're going to be able to win this series. But again, the Lakers have been surprising all year, all in the playoffs. So it wouldn't surprise me. I want to see this matchup. I think the Lakers definitely are not going to roll over. They're going to come out. They're going to play. This is going to be a great series. But I think when it's all said and done, I think Denver is going to win the series. Now that being said, we go to Game 1 right here. I think the Lakers got to surprise them here in Game 1. I think this is the game one or two. The Lakers at least, they love to get the sweep, obviously, the two games, and then go back home. But I think they need to go at least 1-1. They need to split it. And if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, this is the game that I want. I think they can come in and they can surprise Denver right now in Game 1. Denver's been a little rested, right? They might come up. They might come up. They might come out a little sluggish. So I think the Lakers, if they want to get one or two, this would be the game that I think they could take. If Denver wins both of these games, then I can't. If the Lakers go down 2-0, going back home, I don't think they'll win it. I just don't think they'll have enough to beat the Lakers. So I'm taking Denver, but I think the Lakers. This could be the game for Denver that they could come out a little sluggish. They hadn't played in quite some time, so I think the Lakers could surprise Denver. Kind of punch them in the mouth dirty and just continue to play a tough game. And I could see the Lakers taking this one and catch Denver off surprise. So Denver gonna have to be prepared. This is a Laker team that is very dangerous. They've been playing really well. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and they've got some studs. Not studs. I mean, they've got Davis and LeBron, but they've got some really good role players that to this point, right? Previously, they have had somebody step up and be huge for them. So who will it be tonight? Will it be Reeves? Will it be Lonnie the Fourth? Will it be Schroeder? D. Russell? Who's it going to be? But they're going to need someone. They're going to need more than just one. LeBron's going to have to be good. AD's going to have to be good, but they're going to need more than just one more player. Their role players are going to have to play good to beat a good Denver team. But again, Denver, they might come out a little sluggish tonight. I mean, who knows? We'll see. But I still think that I'm taking Denver in Game 1 tonight. I'm taking Denver to win the series, and they'll move on to the finals. But I do believe that this is going to be a good one. I'm going to watch it tonight. I think this is going to be a great matchup. And LeBron against the Joker, man, it's going to be great. And just my surprise, like I said, the Lakers where they're at, I didn't see them being here. So you got to give them a lot of credit. But this team, Denver, they're playing tonight, is going to be far better than the aging Golden State Warrior team that they just played in Memphis. This is a whole different beast for them. This is a complete team with a former MVP on their roster and just a bunch of great role players who can just light it up. So it's going to be a good one. I'm taking Denver tonight to win Game 1 and to win the series. So it should be good. Now we'll flip it over to tomorrow where the Miami Heat will take on the Boston Celtics in Game 1 in Boston. Listen, Jason Tatum, man. I mean, the guy, in Game 6, he's pretty much struggling, and then he just lights it up. But that's what great players do, right? And Jason Tatum's still young, but I just think Boston. I thought Milwaukee and Boston. I never thought Philadelphia could beat Boston. I was hoping that they would. I thought Milwaukee. It was going to come down to Milwaukee and Boston. I liked their bench, their role players, Giannis, Jason Tatum. I was hoping that one was going to be the East. But to my surprise, like the Lakers or Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, what can you say? And they're playing with some guys, some key players that are hurt, right? But Jimmy Butler has been a stud in these playoffs. And I'm going to take the Boston Celtics to win the series. I said it was going to be Boston or Milwaukee. Milwaukee's not in. Boston's in. I still think Boston is the better team. They've got more depth. They got 2 stars. They got some great role players. I just think they're going to be too much for the Heat. And remember, Miami has some key injuries to some key role players. So I think Jimmy Butler can be great, 45, 50 point in any one of these games. And I think Boston can still beat them. I just don't think they're going to have enough Miami to beat Boston. I don't even think it goes to a game seven. Jimmy's going to be great, but I don't think he's going to have enough for Boston. Boston just got too many players that can light it up from the outside. They got Horford and Williams. I mean, they just got a lot. They can play the inside game. They can play the outside game. I just think Boston's going to be too much for Miami. So I'm going to take Miami to win game one. I'm sorry. I'm going to take Boston to win game one at home. Um, they just finished playing the game, so I think they'll be ready to go. And I think maybe Miami, I'll give them maybe 2 wins in this series, but Boston's going to take this in 5 or 6, I think, something like that. And I think these injuries now to these role players for Miami is going to catch up to them in this series. It didn't catch up to them against Milwaukee, but Milwaukee really didn't play up to their potential, I think. And then in round two, I mean, you saw what Miami did, right? But I think in this series, those injuries, they're going to need these guys. This is the series where they're going to need these guys that they don't have. And I think it's going to come back to bite them. And like I said, I think Jimmy could score 50 in one game, and I think he could still potentially lose to a great Boston Celtic team. So I'm taking Boston in game one, and I'm taking them to win the series. And I don't think it'll go, like I said, it'll go to 5 or 6. I really think they're going to put it to the Miami Heat. So let's just kind of recap where my picks are, right? Game one tonight, Los Angeles traveling to Denver. I'm taking Denver to win game one. I'm taking Denver to win the series, but this could go to a game seven. It could. The Lakers have just been playing good enough. They could take them deep. They can take them all the way to the limit. But I just think Denver's going to have too much for them. Now Denver has to come out and shoot. They struggle a little bit, and all of a sudden you're in trouble with the Lakers. So I'm taking Denver, and then of course tomorrow night, game one of the Eastern Finals, where you'll have Miami traveling to Boston. I think Boston will win game one. I think Boston will win the series, and I don't even think it goes to 7. I think they win it in 5, possibly 6. So there you go. Those are my picks. I wanted to get them out before the game started today. It was going to be a real quick, short podcast. Some more news. Another thing I wanted to kind of touch bases on was the firing of Doc Rivers. We talked a lot about that today with some NBA buddies that we always talk basketball. You saw Monty Williams from Phoenix. He got let go. Nick Nurse from Toronto has been fired. Budenholzer, Coach Bud from the Milwaukee Bucks was fired, and then Doc Rivers was fired. Now, all of these coaches have done really well. Monte for Phoenix, Nick Nurse, Toronto, they were kind of iffy. But Coach Bud won a championship not too long ago with Milwaukee and had a great regular season with a top seed. And then they lost, and then Doc Rivers. So let's go to Doc first, right? A lot of people are telling me they don't think Doc should have got fired. Listen, I like Doc Rivers. This is just my opinion, right? And but when I look at the big picture, right, you got the MVP on your team, right? And you're up 3-2 coming back to your place. You have the Celtics in the brink of elimination. I mean, this is you have 2 chances to advance to the Eastern Finals, and you blow it at home, right? You can't pull it out. So you got one more chance to go on the road, and then you only scored 10 points in the third period. You got the MVP, man, on your team. You only scored 10 points in a whole quarter. I don't think it's just the loss. I think it's the way that they lost this game. You have 2 chances, and you can't get through Boston in game 6 or game 7. Someone has to take the blame. I don't think that as an organization you can come back with the same team and then try to win it again. In other words, Doc coming back as the coach because I think that was a horrible loss. They were in control, and even in that game 6, they were in control, and they lost it. I think Doc gets termed the way that he lost the game. He was ahead, and I don't think you can bring him back. I don't think, that's just my opinion. I don't think you can bring him back and then try to win a championship with the way things ended this year. I think you have to make a clean break. I think Doc's going to get another job. It won't take long because he's a great coach, but he couldn't get over the hump with this team. And he should have been able to beat the Boston Celtics. And people say, well, but look, he was ahead. Look what he did in the regular season. I know, but the loss to me, the way that he lost this series, then you try to come back and regroup, whether Harden comes back or not, and then you try to get to the championship. I don't think you can do it with this coach. I think Philadelphia made the right choice. They needed to break ties. They needed to go a different route because of the way that Philadelphia lost the series to Boston. You have to make a clean break and bring in a new coach with some fresh ideas. I don't think that Doc could have came back next year and done better next year than he did this year with the way that he lost um, the series against Boston because he should have won it. I mean, let's be real. He should have won the series. He was ahead 3-2. You got two chances, one to win at home, one on the road. And then you don't take care of business at home. And then you lay a big egg and you get blown out. Now, if he doesn't get blown out, if he loses by 1 point in game seven, then maybe there's a talk where Doc can come back because you were competing. Maybe you lose at the last second with a bucket that the Celtics make, or maybe you miss a last second shot that would have won you the game. If it ends somewhere like that, then maybe there's talks about Doc coming back. But when you have two chances at home and you blow it, right? Jason Tatum gets hot and you blow it, and then you come back in game seven and you're not really even competing in the second half. You get blown out. I don't see how Philadelphia can bring him back and think that you can win a championship with the way things ended the year before. So you have to make a clean break. I don't know who they're going to bring in as a coach. I don't know who the next coach could be. There's coaches out there, Coach Bud, Nurse, Monty. I mean, all these guys could replace Doc, and Doc, they'll probably just switch around. I mean, who knows? All four of those coaches are really good, right? So they all just may go to different teams. Or Doc may go to Toronto, Monty may go to Milwaukee. I mean, but Bud may go to Philadelphia. I mean, who knows how this thing will work, right? But these four coaches that were let go are good coaches that should be coaching another team this upcoming year. They're all four great coaches. Unfortunately, I don't want to see Doc leave either. But the way that I kind of put this in perspective for myself and said, look, the way they lost, you have to let him go. It had to be done, in my opinion. And so Doc is out. We'll see who they bring in. And then we'll see what the other coaches. Coach Bud, too. I like him. Now, Coach Bud's a little different. I know he just won a championship, a few years ago. I don't know if that was the right move to make. I think they could have recovered possibly. But again, in the NBA, the expectations are high. You were great all year. You had the MVP. And I know that Giannis was a little hurt, but you had him. You should have been able to pull that series out against Miami. Someone has to take the fall when expectations are high and you don't even get past the first round. Milwaukee thought it's time to let him go. So he's gone. Monty over in Phoenix. I don't know how you fire this guy. Your bench is horrible. You have no bench. You had going into the playoffs. You decided. I'm talking about the front office to go out and get Kevin Durant. Not saying you shouldn't get Kevin Durant. I think I would have made the trade too to get a Kevin Durant. But when you got Kevin Durant, you let everybody go. You basically have an aging Chris Paul. That's what you have. A guy that can give you maybe 12, maybe 15 points, but he's past his prime, right? He can still manage the game well, but he can't put a team on his back and carry. He just can't do that anymore, right? So you basically have Paul Booker and Kevin Durant. Outside of that, who do you have? You have no one else. And so you expect these three guys to beat in a 7-game series a Denver team with a former MVP, completely healthy, and they've got great role players in depth. If you just look at the on paper, the teams, you knew Phoenix had no chance. I mean, Booker and Kevin Durant were going to have to score 45 plus points every game. Both of them would have to have 45 plus to win a game. And then they weren't even guaranteed that they would win. So when I look at Phoenix, the front office, you went out and got Kevin Durant, and I'm not blaming you for getting Kevin Durant, but you gave up a lot. You didn't have the team to compete with Denver. Yet you fire the head coach. When I don't think any coach that you would have brought in, mind you, Monty goes, you bring in, I don't think any coach you would have brought in could have beaten that Denver team. They talk about Ty Lue, right? Okay, so Ty Lue could have been coaching the Phoenix Suns in this game. He wouldn't have beaten in this series. He wouldn't have beaten Denver. He didn't have the personnel to go up against that Denver team. And Kevin Durant and Booker needed to score, and then Chris Paul gets hurt. So you're already at a disadvantage, I think. And then one of your players goes down. It just wasn't going to happen. And so I thought that the firing of Monty Williams was a little bad. I don't think it was a good firing because I don't think any coach could have coached that series and taken Phoenix to beat, because it wasn't coaching more than you just didn't have the personnel to be able to take on that healthy Denver team that was loaded. They were going to beat you. They were going to wear you down and beat you. So I thought that he shouldn't have been fired because I don't think he went into that series with an advantage to win. Of course, I know you got Kevin Durant, but like I said, to me, they would have had to score 45 to 50 points, both of them every game, just to have a chance to win the game. So I thought it was a bad firing, but they did it anyway. We'll see who comes in with that team next. But again, that's the NBA nowadays. I mean, when you're a coach, and not just in the NBA, but I think it's in the NFL and everywhere. If you don't win right away, you're out. It's very rare. It's a few teams that a coach can stay with and probably be mediocre and stay. Most coaches, you need to produce, and injuries occur, but someone at the end of the season has to take a fall, and that 9 times out of 10 that's the coach. So four coaches, just off the top of my head, I haven't really researched it all, but four coaches that are going to be looking for a job. Four good coaches that wouldn't surprise me if all of them next year are back with some team coaching, because they're all great coaches and should be coaching next year. But again, that'll wrap up the Universal Sports Podcast episode number 4. Just a quick one. Wasn't going to talk about anything else, just basketball tonight. I wanted to get my predictions out there before the series starts tonight in the West. Game 1, Los Angeles taking on Denver. I'm definitely going to watch that game. I'll be back tomorrow, recap that game. And then tomorrow is game 1 in the Eastern Finals between the visiting Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. So you guys have heard who I think will win tonight. I've already said who's going to win tomorrow, and you already got my predictions on who I think are going to win the series. So we'll wait if I'm correct or if I'm not. There's some games, so I'm excited about coming on and breaking these games down and previewing the games. And then I'll be back tomorrow to do that, to preview again, talk a little bit about the Wednesday's game, the Celtics in Miami. I'll recap the Lakers in Denver. And then we'll talk a little bit of baseball also. Baseball's getting really, really good. A lot of good teams, man. I mean, Houston is kind of jumping up there a little bit. There was some news about Brantley. We'll get into that. Altuve down here in my parts of the area, playing up in the Corpus Christi area, out here with the Hooks. So we'll definitely talk tomorrow and see how that went. But I'm excited about getting him back. So we'll definitely talk some Astros, some Rangers. Things are really heating up in the American League, man. Tampa Bay, the Yankees, the Twins, Baltimore. You just got a lot of teams. It's getting really good in baseball. So we'll definitely start talking a little bit of baseball as basketball season starts to come to an end. And then there's always football, the NFL, right around the corner, man. So there's a lot of talks already getting going. Some college sports. They've already come up with the rankings, who they think early on. So we'll definitely get into some NFL, not too much, but we'll talk some NFL news. We'll talk some college football. And then, of course, we'll talk baseball. Also, the next couple of days or over the weekend, we'll have the tournaments for the softball. So I'll definitely be talking some softball, not tomorrow, but the day after. As we get going, I'm keeping track of some softball too. So all that stuff coming up, man. But thank you for listening. This podcast will be uploaded here in about an hour. And like I said, it's not video yet. Maybe when I get closer, maybe into another 10, 15 episodes, we get going a little bit. If people start following me, I'll then put the camera on and we'll start debating. But right now, I just wanted to get out and kind of just talk a little bit of professional and college sports. That's what we do on this podcast. So tomorrow, I'll come back out, talk a little bit of NBA, and we'll talk baseball tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I'll have another podcast uploaded later in the evening toward the night. So hope you enjoy this, man. And like I said, you can always catch it on a comment because it'll be shared over to my Facebook and Twitter page, the Universal, also on YouTube. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the Lakers or you like Denver. Let me know if you like the Heat or you like Boston. And like I said, tomorrow we'll talk some MLB baseball. So until tomorrow, man, hope you enjoy this podcast and we'll talk to you later. Have a great night.